Welcome to video 6 of the Raspberry Pi Rack series. As you can tell, I'm in a different venue. So my office is almost set up. There's a couple more things I need to get, including a pop filter. So apologies in advance for that. Hopefully I don't blow your eardrums out. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about 5U panels. I'm going to release those today, as well as the template panel that I used to template the 2, 3, and 4 sections. So hopefully you can get some printing done this week, and about midweek, hopefully I'll have another video out with at least a couple of the parts of the top. So progress is definitely being made, and we're getting there. The rack is probably another couple weeks before it's complete. So really good stuff. And it's also given me a reason to build out my office and kind of have a small little studio type thing going on. So that's been pretty nice as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right, so what you're looking at here is the template that I'm using for the 5U panels, as well as kind of the root object that those are derived from. So when you start trying to resize the side panels to either add U's or remove U's or what have you, this is not the panel for that. This is the panel to adjust kind of root features that all the rest of the panels derive from. So for instance, the holes here, the interlocking stuff that's going on here on the top and the bottom, that sort of stuff is what you'd want to edit on this. As well as, if you want to change the shape of where the trays slide in, that sort of stuff. This is the object that you modify for that. Now, I'm going to release this just as a step file. So you won't be able to kind of derive directly from this object the way that it's initially laid out. But you can import that step file into Fusion and kind of create your own derives, if you will. So, again, I'm providing you with a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So if you want something more than that, you're kind of on your own at that point. Anyway, so as you can see, there's no magnets or anything with this. Those are added on to the side panels, I guess, as the right and the left 5U panels, and then, the smaller ones are derived from those. But you wouldn't want to add those features on this. This is literally just a base object. So let's switch over to the left 5U panel. So as you can see, this is literally just a derivative of that. I kind of cut part of the back off and added these hinges, and then I added the magnets to the front of this. It's a pretty simple derive from the other 5U panel, but I wanted to make clear that like the specific, left and right side modifications to that panel happen on the 5U section of those panels, and then you're welcome to slice them and do whatever you want that way, but that's how this is laid out. So any of the magnet placement, that sort of stuff, all happens on the 5U panels. Same for the right side. So again, those right there and there, and then there. So that's kind of the layout of that. And then the back panel is pretty much identical to the rest of the back panels, right? You print it on that side, that sort of thing. Magnets are here. One thing I want to indicate is that, in the side panels, I went ahead and changed the magnet placement to where the magnets go through, the sides. Well, that's the same way as it is here, but I put the magnet in through the top here, and the reason for that is it would be really kind of difficult to cut that out and slide a magnet in this way, so it's easier just to do it from the top. It's easier to print, it's easier to build, and it's certainly easier to assemble, so that's what I did there. Anyway, let's hop into the slicer settings real quick. So this is the back panel, and of course it prints like any of the other back panels, right? So you just lay it face down. It doesn't need any supports or anything like that, so infill of 15 is fine. Prusament 0.2 quality. We'll go ahead and set the solid layers to 5 and 5 and slice that. So 5 hours, 22 minutes, $2.45 in plastic. So about to be expected, but that's the part. So one thing I want to point out about these, as you can see, we have some chamfers here, there, and on this side as well. Probably look better that way. Okay, so there and then there. Well, on a Mark III, and I'm assuming probably a majority of other printers, the hot end has the parts fan in the front. Well, that parts fan blows air directly kind of this way, right? And if you were to, for instance, rotate this thing to where it is this side, right? Well, that would look great because the parts fan would cool that pretty well. However, this side being on the back would not. So I've noticed that with chamfers, the more air you have, the better it is, right? So you have like the you have the cooling of the PLA as it's being laid down with the parts fan, and by orienting it this way, it allows for the parts fan to kind of equally cool those, and they look the same. If you were to rotate it 90 degrees and print it this way, it wouldn't look the same on both sides. Now, they would both print fine, but, one would be, more matte and the other one would be more glossy or something like that. It just wouldn't look exactly the same. So that's the reason I print these parts this way. You'll see more of that on the faceplates as well. If you print the faceplates in different orientations, you'll see that they have a tendency to look different. So anyway, let's hop over into the next one. Okay, so again, with these parts, you want to add some supports in here, right? I mean, we can do that real quick, but I think you've probably already seen me do that enough. Let's go ahead and lay it flat, and then we'll go ahead and do this. Of course, the DPI settings on my mouse are still a little high. I was playing some Cyberpunk last night, and it needed the higher DPI, or I guess lower DPI, whatever, to make it faster to move. All right, let's go ahead and center that. Turn on support enforcers. And this is going to be 5 and 5. All right, we slice that. We're looking at 10 hours, 42 minutes, and, oh, wait, we missed one section of supports. We've got to support those. Okay, cool. Now we can slice it. Not going to add much time, though. Okay, so 10 hours, 45 minutes, and $4.40 in plastic. So, it's a big part. These things are definitely going to cost a lot more in plastic. I think I usually get like 5 or 6 of them out of a roll of filament. They do consume quite a bit. So let's hop over into the right side now. Okay, we'll just go ahead and go through the motions. Again, these all print exactly like the last, series of parts that I've released. They all print identical. They're all derived from the same object. That's kind of the intent, to keep printing simple and, relatively straightforward. So, all right, 5 and 5. Support enforcers, gyroid 15, slice. Okay, so 10 hours, 37 minutes, and $4.36 in plastic. So there's your 5U sections. All right, so we have another section completed of the rack. So 2, 3, 5. You may be asking why I didn't do a total of 5 here, but I wanted this to be kind of separation for the management cluster and the storage that I'm going to put here, which is just for breadboarding and stuff like that. So there's a reason for that. I wanted it to be separated. It's one of the reasons I designed this part in the first place. Then up here we'll have the regular cluster, and then I'll have another 5U section here at the top. That's going to be for the display. So I should have that printed here in the next couple of days, but for now, this thing's looking pretty good. It's really strong. Like, it's not going to break. In addition to that, the magnets are super strong as well. So they will actually close themselves. So yeah, that's really, really an improvement over the last design. I used round magnets in the last design, and they weren't strong enough. So that's perfect. As far as fitment from all the parts, so far it's been really nice. Everything's fit like it's supposed to. Everything is exact. Inside, that's about 110
Outside it's about 119.6, I think. Anyway, that's irrelevant, but inside is what matters. So that's 110 inside, and then these trays right here, I'm still working on that. I think these are going to be 109, I think is what it's going to take in order to get those to be perfect, because that one's 109, and that's looking pretty nice. So that's probably what we're going to go with. But then you have to take into account where the Raspberry Pi sits inside that thing and all that. So it could be like 110, 105 internal. So we'll see exactly what it looks like once this is all done. But you get the idea. So I'm making really, really, really good progress on this. So I'll have another tier set up here pretty soon. And once I get that all set up, we can start putting the top together. Alright, so at this point all the side panels are complete. So are all the back sections. So everything looks good. All the magnets work. Everything is all the same polarity, exactly like it should be. Now we start on the top.
So as I'm sure you can guess, at this point I've made some pretty good progress on the build of my rack. So I've got the 2.3 and the 2.5U sections built, and I'm working on the top now. So, over the next couple of weeks I expect it to release almost all the rest of the parts. I think the biggest thing is going to be the trays. I've got to make sure those fit like they're supposed to, and I still have just a little bit more that I need to do with the top to make sure that all the magnets fit properly, to make sure that everything lays the way it's supposed to. And I'm tightening up the tolerances on the top a little bit to make sure that, when the lid closes, it fits like it's supposed to, and all of that. So there's some ongoing development with that, and I'm hoping I'll be able to release that this week. If nothing else, there will be at least a couple of parts, but bear with me as I'm trying to work through all this, and I'm also trying to get my office set up and all of that. So this has been far more time investment than I expected, it's good because I'm learning a whole lot about the whole media creation process and editing and encoding and all of that stuff. So that's all good stuff. Anyway, so enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy printing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you're new to the series, be sure to like and subscribe. I know everybody on YouTube says that, but obviously I don't have a whole lot of subscribers at this point, so that'd be kind of nice. Anyway, so later on.